See, when you are under pressure to perform, you may not be wanting to perform, but then there is a conscience of yours which would hit on time and you shall start performing.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Superlawyer YouTube channel. Today we are joined by Advocate Abhinav Mishra. Sir is a panel A counsel for the Union of India before the Supreme Court and a senior panel counsel before the Delhi High Court. With the practice spanning commercial litigation, insolvency, restructuring, arbitration, and regulatory disputes, he advises leading government bodies and institutions. Known for his strategic clarity and courtroom presence, he regularly appears before the constitutional courts and the specialized tribunals. As a practitioner, mentor, and founder of Chambers of Abhinav Mishra, he continues to shape and contribute to the evolving landscape of Indian litigation. We welcome you today, sir. I am Manshi. I work with the Superlawyer team. At Superlawyer, we showcase inspiring journeys of legal professionals offering valuable insights that greatly motivate and benefit our readers, which are young lawyers and the legal community at large. Thank you for being with us today.
It's an honor. Thank you for having me over.
So, I'm going to start with the conversation. And the very first question that we ask everyone is that being a first generation lawyer and coming from a very modest beginning, could you take us through your early journey and what initially inspired you to pursue a career in law? And also, how were the initial years in your practice like?
Sure, certainly. So, Anshi, if I have to begin with, I'll simply start with the factum that my journey has been as similar to any other first generational lawyer in the profession. So, if you ask me how things shaped up and how did they start, so it all started from meeting a senior who had qualified the CLAT examination and was selected for WBNUJS Kolkata. So I had met him through a family friend, and we all were having a nice gala time. And he then told me that I am about to join the WBNUJS in July. So I was not knowing what WBNUJS is at that point of time. So I asked him ki bhaiya ye what is this? So then he tells me that this is one of the premier law colleges. This is a national law university and only the select few who qualify the CLAT examination get through this. So that was that defining moment that told me that even I can become a lawyer and even I wish to become a lawyer and even I wish to enter a national law university and do my bachelor's in law. And since then, this has been the driving force. So when I entered the law school, so in my law school, things were really different. Though mooting and debating were given a lot of priority, but we did not have a lot of enthusiasts who would be taking up those activities. So from my batch onwards, things became a bit strategized and a bit regularized. So students and batchmates and two, three batches seniors were also there. So we all started with the student run body sort of a thing for the moot courts and for the debating competitions and clinical legal education and everything. So from there came the ideology of taking over responsibilities. So when we did not have any mentors or faculty members to guide us to how to secure the fund for the event, how to bring the guests in, how to ensure the participations, so it all came from personal experiences and looking at colleges and institutions and committees of different colleges around. So when we started doing it and when we started doing it at a big level, so we all kind of had become mid-tier organizers of events till the time we had reached fourth year of law school. And thereafter, we came to also understand that if we can do things for the college, why can't we do things for ourselves? And what is the harm in beginning as a first generational independent lawyer at a young age in the profession than struggling for 10 years as a junior or an associate with a senior counsel and then being able to take a call in the traditional method as to what next is to be done. And another thing that I would say that it all happens when you have the willpower and the zeal to achieve something. So in my case, had I not had the zeal, I would have not been in front of you today. So that is the driving force because Today also, even after spending 10 years in the profession, when you ask me what is the driving force that I have today to work harder from tomorrow, I'll say that Superlawyer has been kind enough to select me for an interview. So I would want to be a part of such big organizations, events in near future as well. So that has been the zeal. Eventually, it came down to working for the government. Since I belong to a civil servant family, so working for the government was also always on the charts. Working on the government now at such senior level also tells us that what kind of responsibility the profession wants us to be obligated for. When you have the stake of such big entities involved and you being appointed to manage it all, I'll tell you the pride comes from within to achieve something in the process. So this has been the journey of though initial or present, whatever you may call it, and the zeal to join the law school was because of a family friend who happens now to be a professional senior.
That's really beautiful and inspiring, sir, because since everyone in the industry needs someone to look up to or maybe have someone to go to, that's really inspiring that you had that particular experience. Now, coming to my next question, that after your initial years in law, every successful journey has a defining moment that guides their path. So, looking back, what would you describe as the turning point that transformed your journey? Was there any particular moment that you felt that this was transformational and set your path across? Please.
Thank you for this question. I'll begin with saying that every day transforms you in a manner. So when you begin as a youngster in the profession, the transformation can be by procuring some big matter to be allotted by your professional senior in your office to work upon and assist him. Eventually, the turning point comes to the aspect of independently handling clients for your seniors. That goes on to the aspect of facing the courtroom as a counsel and doing a full-fledged argument in a matter. So for me also the journey has been like this only. So I would not say that there has been a one defining turning point in my professional career. Yes, there are matters and then there are facts of the cases. When you hear them, you feel like working for the cause. So in that manner, I would say, Anshi, that we as lawyers get that turning point every day or every week in our profession. So to now conclude to this aspect that what I would be looking back to, I would be looking back to the teachings I have had from my experiences in the profession. I would be looking back to the mentors that have blessed me in the process, who have bestowed their faith upon me, who have marked me matters, who have pushed my name for government appointments, who have given me a matter to begin with and have eventually kept on giving me matters because the result was similar to what they were having an expectation of. So, in that manner, Anshi, every day has been defining and every day is a turning point in your career. Some make out of it and some break out of it. The call is entirely yours. Because you see, when I had begun, there were days when we were not paid a penny. That is how the litigation life is primarily. Even in cities like New Delhi and Mumbai, let me tell this to you, though they may be paying you the basics, but that basic you will eventually realize gets blown away by the 20th or the 21st of the month. So last 8 9 days of survival becomes a matter of crisis in the young days. So that was a turning point in my profession which told me that नहीं बॉस ये एक सैलरी से नहीं होगा ये थोड़ा बहुत इंडिपेंडेंट काम उठाने का you need to do something beyond what you are being paid, otherwise you will not be able to sustain. The next moment was, Anshi, when one of the client had approached me and had handed over me a very handsome amount of check, and 2 weeks down the line another one had turned up and they had simply folded their hands saying that I won't be able to pay you anything. So luckily for me, I represented both of them. And the client who paid me lost the matter. The client who didn't, I got a reportable in her case. So that was the turning point, that you do not fix your area of what to choose and what not to choose. You keep choosing everything that comes your way because you don't have that generational legacy or that generational wealth of experience with you. People are not waiting for you to graduate the law school so that they can mark you matters. You need to procure them, secure them, beg for them, fight for them, steal them, and win them eventually.
Beautiful thought. You do whatever it takes to excel, and that's what the zeal is for lawyers. So, coming to my next question, today serving as a panel counsel for several PSUs and government bodies, how do you go about building such a strong and credible practice from the ground up? The Chambers of Abhinav Mishra, how did you start and what were the experiences that you had building your practice?
Okay, so how did I start about with building my practice? With the assistance of a few colleagues in the profession who literally were not looking up to make profits from me. That is how it starts. When you figure out and find out people who share a common ideology, who are not there to do a job with you, who are not working with you as a matter of employment, who are standing with you as a team. That is that one thing which I believe builds everyone's practice in this profession. So it happened with me too. I'm fortunate enough that in my initial years, even now, I am blessed to have a team of colleagues who I call family. So there are days when we are good to each other. There are days when we are rude to each other because law is a profession that entails a lot of strictness and discipline as well. But then eventually, when the sun fades in the night and you are in the process of unwinding, it is these set of colleagues who will come and sit with you and ask you, सब ठीक है, आज कैसा रहा, कल इसका क्या होना है, इसमें कल क्या करना है. So that sense of belongingness that I got from the initial team or my present day team has built a major portion of my practice. The next aspect, Anshi, that I would say what led to building my practice was a sense of fear and anxiety of being a first generational lawyer and having this fear of losing the case and losing the client eventually. See, when you are under pressure to perform, you may not be wanting to perform, but then there is a conscience of yours which would hit on time and you shall start performing. So for me, the thing was that I applied to agencies, PSUs, government bodies. I appeared for the interview. They kept on shortlisting. It took a while. And eventually my name came in the merit list. And then I went and requested them to mark me a case and see my performance, and they marked me a case. And for my experience, then when I had begun, I was not that confident that I'll be able to literally dig the strategy out of it or build something in the process that would lead to a favorable order for the client. So that sense of fear कि अगर ये केस बहुत मुश्किल से मिला है and if this goes away next नहीं मिलेगा, you start performing and that performance eventually builds it up. The third thing was a very dedicated and supportive team of people that we have in our law offices that we call as support staff. प्रिंट आउट से लेके चाय पानी नाश्ते तक, क्लाइंट को एंटरटेन करने से लेकर बिल्स मेरे बनाकर इशू करने तक, जो लोगों ने और क्लाइंटों से रिक्वेस्ट करके फिर procuring the professional fee which are getting delayed. You know how a lawyer's office works. So their support has been incredible. And obviously, the youngsters I have met in the journey, my interns who are now practicing lawyers, and one of my interns of my early days, he's having a practice of 7 years now. So let me tell this to you that it is the relationship that builds it up. It is the trust that builds it up. It is the support that builds it up. It is that team effort that builds it up. People may walk ways thereafter. All of us have our own individual journeys to accomplish, to travel. But yes, in their limited course of engagement with my office, my chambers, whatever their contributions have been, they have all helped me to build it up.
That's a beautiful, beautiful way to put it. Often overlooked, I must say, the things that you've addressed. Coming to my next question, what has been one of the most challenging cases you've ever handled, and how did you navigate such an intricate case? Of course, keeping confidentiality in mind. How did you address such a intricate or most challenging case that you had till now?
Okay, so I'll reveal a trade secret to you in this interview today. Though I'm not obligated to, but I think since this will be viewed by many, I think many youngsters would be having a view of it and they should get to understand how it functions. Anshi, I'll tell you, when I had graduated in 2016, fortunately for me, the insolvency and bankruptcy code was being enacted. And eventually, post having a bit of litigation experience, I had merged into a in-house role where that in-house institution was one of the government appointed stakeholders upon the consultation and review of the draft IBC bill. So my managing director then was one of the members of the discussion committee of the parliament at that point in time to discuss about the implementation etc of the insolvency and bankruptcy code. So in order to make her notes and all for the discussions with the parliamentarians, the entire legal team of the company was being engaged. And I had recently joined them and I was a fresher then. And they had given me the responsibility to brief the managing director upon whatever notes were being prepared upon. So that was that one challenging case of my life because I was 6 months into the profession and what I was given a job was to brief my managing director who was to in turn brief the members of the parliament upon the stake of housing finance institutions upon the implementation of the IBC. And you know, these managing director people here, they don't listen to you much. Okay, they give you 30 seconds, 45 seconds, जो बोलना है, you speak in those limited time frame and then you are asked to simply leave. So that was one of the first initial challenges that I had faced as to how to brief somebody who is not interested in taking a briefing from me. That was the day I learnt it, that I can still brief somebody who doesn't want to be briefed. Then the very next challenge was before Honorable Mr. Justice Jayant Nath in Delhi High Court, when the matters concerning transfer of company petitions from High Court to National Company Law Tribunals were being taken into consideration. So I had the liberty and honor both to brief Senior Advocate Sri Anil Kumar Eri Sahab on this. And luckily for both of us and our hard work and efforts, and grateful to Sir's able knowledge in the Companies Act and the provisions of IBC, that we were again able to procure reportable judgments in that cause of action against 50, 60 companies which were undergoing liquidation at that point in time and were being subject to the jurisdiction of the Delhi High Court. Because all these companies used to file for voluntary liquidations earlier or compulsory liquidations when they were not able to cater to their liabilities. And that very action of filing a company petition was orchestrated by the insolvent company to the creditor to file it against him. So they were very convenient standing in the High Court, and now suddenly came a process which says कि 180 days में resolution होना है. If not late, तब 100% liquidation होना है. So all these managing directors of these big real estate companies, Vigneshwara, AVJ Homes, Amrapali, JP, so they were all conveniently standing in the High Court and they were waiting for the matter to be taken up. When the matter used to be taken up, they used to pray for an adjournment and all. And suddenly their matter was now going to NCLT for a faster process. So many were not good with this. So Akhil Sibal Saab was engaged on their behalf. Anil Kumar Eri Sahab was engaged on behalf of the Home Buyer Association, whom I was representing. And we had procured this good judgment, and those 45 days of continuous arguments before the Delhi High Court was another challenging moment, 2018-19. Then came an occasion at NCLT Chandigarh bench where I was myself opposing two senior counsels. One was senior advocate Abhinav Vashisht Sahab, and another was senior advocate Amit Jhanji Sahab. And we were also being opposed by Saraf and partners in that matter. So it pertained to a large-scale commercial transaction. So again, there the arguments had gone for about 75, 80 days at a stretch. So, all these commercial disputes and the courts come to listen to them, right? They do a joint hearing of all the matters together. For a simple reason that they are so complicated that once you lose a track of them, you may lose the entire nexus of the matter. So these 3-4 events have been what I call them as challenging moments in my clientele vis-a-vis my private clientele. Another was in an international commercial arbitration before Honorable Mr. Justice Abhay Manohar Sapre Sahab, former Supreme Court of India. So there was this application of the Hague Service on Conventions. Hague Convention on Services, they regulate the process of service of notices to parties abroad India in judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings. So there it took a while from Honorable Judge Sahab to procure a judgment in my favor because Judge Sahab wasn't wanting to hear it at one go. So convincing them and putting them to a similar platform as what you are standing at, all these matters have been challenging. Now coming to the government side, let me tell this to you. I am mostly working for the Ministry of Home Affairs, so I handle matters of NIA, ED, NCB, CBI. So each and every matter that is going to the Supreme Court has a point of law involved in it. And our ASG Saab and ASG madams are overburdened with arguing the cases. So briefing them and they arguing the matter and standing by them and continuously assisting them from standing behind them every day is challenging there. So these are all the challenging moments that I have faced in my professional career until now.
These experiences that you have, it's absolutely enlightening, and I'm sure that the students who will be viewing this interview would also learn a lot from them. Now, coming to my next question, and almost to the end of the interview, I would really like to ask you that being a first generation lawyer and serving as a panel A counsel for Union of India, what has been the most fulfilling sense of achievement so far? Be it a case or be it any personal achievement or professional achievement, what would you say that would be the most fulfilling sense of achievement
Actually,
that you?
the most fulfilling one has been answered by you directly. That was being appointed as panel A to the Union of India. Then there are these special days in your professional career that you literally feel that you are worthy something. And then you literally feel that your efforts have been seen by the superiors in the government. And you genuinely feel that whatever you have been doing until now, the struggle, the countless struggle, the sleepless nights that you have put in, the meals that you have skipped, the family events that you have missed, the love that you have sacrificed, the emotions that you have kept at stake, they all make sense when you get appointments like these. And what more fulfilling and more honoring can it be than being appointed as a senior panel counsel for the government of India, both in the Supreme Court as well as in the Delhi High Court. The PSUs were good, the state PSUs were also good, but central government per se gives that amount of pride within you. And it feels as an honor to, more than as an honor to serve your country. My father was an IPS, he has now retired. So he used to wear this uniform and I used to feel this sense of pride. ये मेरे पापा हैं. So I felt that when I was appointed as the panel A, my father had come to me with a box of sweets and he had met me and simply told me that आज तुम भी सरकारी बन गए. So that was the defining thing. That was the day that you were actually living for, because you don't feel that amount of satisfaction or that amount of happiness when others in the market or around the corner appreciate you. But you feel that sense of pride when the person who has been judging you for their entire lifetime comes to you and says ki kya beta kya baat hai. So that makes that difference. So that was one day. Then I used to be very influenced and I used to be very mesmerized by seeing the LinkedIn profiles of certain advocates, certain senior advocates who used to write that they were special counsel to so and so agency, they were special counsel to so and so department. So that honor came to my career as well. I was also appointed as a special counsel to the National Highway Division Group for Uttar Pradesh Public Works Department. So Yogi Adityanath Saab is undertaking a lot of road development and infrastructure activities in the state of UP. So all these private contractors are now going into arbitration with the state. So I have been appointed as a special counsel for one of those beyond 500 CR claim arbitration for the government of UP. So these have been the satisfying days of the profession. Then, if you ask me, being honored with the National Law Day Award 2022 was one of the satisfying moments, because then, until the time, I was not knowing that who have been the past recipients of this award. I was not considering myself so important. So when I saw the list, it included all the former judges of the Honorable Supreme Court, the Honorable Delhi High Court, Punjab Haryana High Court, former ASGs, former SG Saab, former AG Sir, Venugopal Sir, and everyone. So I felt that I probably either did not deserve it or probably मेरा नाम गलती से आ गया है उस लिस्ट में. But then again, that feeling was only for an hour. But when I was called on the stage and my credentials were being read out and all, that goosebumps sort of a feeling that I had within me. So that was this defining moment.
Beautiful how you put it. And I guess that is what we work for. All of this struggle and everything that goes into it, it is what we work for as a lawyer. And I think it will be beautiful when our learners will also learn from this. So the last question, coming to our very end of our segment, would be what is your way of looking forward, the future do you envision for yourself, your practice, and also if you could give us a few nuggets for the young advocates or young students of how they can also navigate their career in law and maybe build up a practice like yours.
Okay.
Thank
So how do I see myself in future? I still want to work for the government of India on greater fronts with more responsibilities and with some sort of dedication inside me to stand and to keep standing for what is right. So that is the goal in the near future. Obviously, I don't mind multinationals. I have been working for them, and who doesn't want money? And so private clientele works separately. And I want to win more cases. I want to keep winning them. I want to stand before the constitutional courts of the country and have my head high while placing arguments before them. I want to have that sense of integrity and wisdom within me. And I want to keep praying to the Almighty. I want to keep praying for the betterment of all of us, for the betterment of my team, for my colleagues. This is what I see in the near future for myself. Now, that pointers that you were asking for the younger generations, okay, the first one being please don't give up. People in this generation don't have a habit of struggling, and you ask me. I believe all of us have built that sense of ego to not understand the side of the other person. And this feeling that whatever we are thinking is always right. So, if we can get rid of all these small shortcomings we as humans possess, let me tell this to you, this will be a good day for the future generations to come and step into this profession. Another thing, yes, it is good to fight for your rights to be paid, etc. Nobody questions that. Good seniors in the profession are paying hefty, handsome, no harm. But then there are occasions where you should be prioritizing learning over the money. Because government cases, had I had this ideology कि यहाँ पे तो मुझे private client जितना पैसा नहीं है, so government के पास बहुत वकील हैं, government के पास बहुत matter हैं, government is not going to pay every counsel with that hefty sum of fee. So I would have not been standing as a panel A today or a senior panel today, because that was that day that made me realize कि what government pays is on a per appearance basis and not on a lump sum basis. So if I have to have that money making mentality, I will never be able to work for the government of India. And today when I work for the government of India, I equally feel that government also pays you handsome, more than handsome. So next thing is be dedicated. You need to have a goal. You can't be experimenting in this profession here. As a first generation, to aur bhi nahi. See, you are belonging to a generational wealth. You are having that generational wealth of legacy of practice, and it's a different ball game. But ask me, as a first generation lawyer, you shouldn't be experimenting. Either you are stepping full fledged into this or you are not stepping into this at all. So once you have stepped into it, please either don't back out, or if you wish to back out, please never ever step back again into it, because otherwise this litigation is not everyone's cup of tea. So it entails a lot of hard work, perseverance, persistence, resilience, falling back, getting up, but not giving up. So next thing is, please have your basics cleared, because if your basics are clear, you shall be struggling lesser in the courts. If your basics are clear, you shall be able to make a better impact. So please do your reading properly. Please be honest to your work. Please be dedicated to the cause that you are serving. And yes, please keep smiling at the end of the day, because otherwise this profession will make you sad. So one shouldn't be feeling sad here, because the only source of motivation that you will be fetching in the end is going to be from your own within self, and that we all know as self motivation. So be motivated and keep praying to the Almighty. भगवान सबका अच्छा ही करते हैं, and महादेव जैसे भगवान हो तो हर हर ही होता है सबका. भगवान के आगे नतमस्तक रहिए, अपनी मेहनत दिल से करिए, किसी के साथ गलत भावना सद्भावना मत रखिए, गुरु को गुरु मानिए, आप शिष्य रहिए. ये दुनिया भी आपको सलाम करेगी, यहाँ के लोग भी आपको सलाम करेंगे, और समाज भी आपको सलाम करेगा.
Thank you so much for, first of all, gracing us today, being here with us, and sharing such beautiful experiences and thoughts with us. We are really, really happy to have you today with us.
Yeah.
And I hope the younger generation gets to learn a lot from you, from this interview, as I did today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anshi. Thank you, Divya ma'am. It has been an honor, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and all the best to Superlawyer. You people are genuinely doing a very noble thing. All the best. Thank you so much.